You're welcome back to watching Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. It's Commodities Day, so let's head to that space now. And I think one of the interesting topics we'd like to look at is that survey released by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We're having this conversation with the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, Mr. Bismarck Rewane. Mr. Rewane, good morning. Good to have you on the show, second time this week.
Good morning, Ini.
Yeah. So this survey, well, they said they did it with 1,600 businesses are optimistic that from September, counting like 3 to 6 months, things will change. Do you see the same?
I think that first and foremost, there was 1,600. The survey sample was 1,600. It cuts across the entire country and different enterprises. If you are saying that, how do you feel the economy will look like at the end of the year? This data point or this conclusion seems realistic. Currently, there's a crisis. Currently, there are views about fuel scarcity, the Dangote refinery, when is it starting, and all of that. But if you cast your minds forward, if you look forward and say what will be happening between September and December, first and foremost, the duty waiver would have kicked in, the harvest would have kicked in, and it would appear that the administration is beginning to settle down after the initial missteps. The administration is beginning to settle down, and therefore, what I would say is there's guarded and cautious optimism about the future. I wouldn't go as far as to say that investors are very optimistic, but definitely they feel better and feel more optimistic than they were earlier in the year. The currency is relatively stable, and prices are beginning to moderate. So, if I'm a businessman, and which I am, I feel better than I was feeling about 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, but I mean, when we look at some of those, the details of it, so they did complain of electricity supply, multiple taxation. These things are still there. I wonder if they're going to go away, or is it just the sentiment of some level of stability that is going to make the numbers or the situation better in these 3 to 6 months?
I think it depends on the way the questions were put. If they tell you that, are you feeling better now than you felt 3 months ago? The answer is, I feel cautiously but optimistic. How do you think you'll be feeling at the end of the year after the Christmas sales and all that? I think I feel much better in December than I was feeling in June. So that's the way it is. Well, it's not a binary choice. Are you feeling bad or are you feeling better? The truth is that I'm feeling relatively better now than when the exchange rate was 1,900. At 1,600, I feel good. I feel better than when it was 1,900. What do you think it's going to be at the end of the year? If we think it's going to be 1,500 or 1,450, yeah, definitely. That makes me feel better, right? The central bank has reintroduced the retail Dutch auction. Yes, I think there's some clarity now. Interest rates are flattened out. I think that sounds better. So from a macroeconomic perspective and from an investor perspective, yes, there's what I can say, there's a flicker of hope at the end of a very dark tunnel. But it doesn't mean that we should get complacent. There's still work to be done. There are a lot of issues that need to be resolved. So, but like they say, the longest journey starts with the first step. These are early days.
Yeah, and they hinge this hope on the agriculture sector, and yet we still have that major challenge, insecurity, disrupting agricultural production and activities. I wonder what could change within this period of survey.
Well, I think for agriculture, it's very simple. There's the question of post-harvest losses. There's a question of irrigation dams that are not working. That's for production. Then there's storage, which is post-harvest losses as well. Then there's logistics of moving your products to the markets and to the manufacturers. When you put all of this together, the agricultural sector is still suffering because for every 100 tons you produce, you are likely to lose about 60 tons in terms of post-harvest losses. Then the cost of transporting these products to the market And then, all of these are major issues as far as agriculture is concerned. But I think that if now that the price of diesel has come down, and now that seems to be some clarity or semi-clarity as to what the price of petrol will be, now that the Dangote refinery is likely to commence production in the next in September, that has been made very clear. So if we now know that petrol will be available, we now know that diesel has stabilized, we know that the foreign exchange market and imported products are going to be coming in to stabilize the price of food commodities, then it's possible that we may begin to see improvement in agriculture. But the insecurity problem is actually solved two ways. One is the tenacity of the security agencies, which has been proven not to be so strong in recent times. But more importantly, is the fact that the investment in telco infrastructure, which will now use drone technology to identify and bring to book those terrorists and kidnappers. Once you can have that investment in telecommunication, which was emphasized at the town hall meeting last week, then you will see that you will reduce the propensity and the ability of these criminals to go in and disrupt agricultural production, kidnapping people in their farms. So it's a major issue. One, you have to deal with power supply, because without power supply, the investment in telco infrastructure is going to be suboptimal. Two, if the telcos are able to liberalize their pricing and charge adequately, then they will invest more. And once that happens, then it becomes very easy to identify and actually arrest those perpetrators of kidnapping and ransom around the farm area. If that happens, and the farmers now know that they are safe, they can go to their farms, and even if they are moving their products from their farms to the markets, they are not going to be kidnapped. You will see a major boost in agricultural production. That happens. So you have increase in power output, increase in agricultural output, increase in telco infrastructure, and overall an increase in GDP, which will improve the welfare of the people. It's not a silver bullet, but it's going to happen very quickly. It's a tide that will lift all boats. So that's the way we look at it.
All right, Mr. Rewane, we will look at that and do hope that those actions that need to be taken, especially when it comes to dealing with insecurity, will actually be taken. Thank you so much, Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company.
Thank you for having me.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking Data Academy, talking about data breach and protection of your data. Is it that one? You join us after the break here on Business Morning on Sunrise Daily.